And then obviously I'm doing a range and I'm basically just doing the range we've been in. So every time it gets back down to 60, I almost have all Bitcoin, right? Because it's been buying on the way down. And then I liquidate out of the pool. So I keep all the Bitcoin. And then I wait for it to bounce up and I jump back in with half as much Bitcoin. So it's just like I've been organically buying while getting yield while we've been in this range going sideways.
Right.
So
Oh, I think you're muted
it's
on
kind of worked
Spaces
out.
too.
Am I muted on spaces? Yeah, I
Yeah,
am.
but yeah, that
People just
strategy,
missed all the good alpha.
I know they did. Hopefully the recording got it. But yeah, that is I love all those different financial tool strategies that are available now that weren't available in the last couple cycles.
Yeah. I mean, it's a way to for me to kind of at least have a quasi dollar cost averaging because it's just like I'm so bad about doing that. And and I bought ironically, I did buy a little Bitcoin last week. And you know, we're down now, which sucks, but like it is what it is. But yeah, that pool is kind of always like in my back pocket in terms of all right, if we go down, I know at least I'm buying some because of that.
Yeah. Yep.
In fact, we're not low enough where it makes sense for me to liquidate because like I said, I put that pool on I think around 66. So I'd have a little more Bitcoin, but really we need to get down to like 60, which we could. I mean, it's still in that range, right? We've been in this range of basically 60 to 73 for how long now? 3 months. It feels like longer.
Yeah, I
But
mean, we've
yeah,
been sideways for,
it's only 3 months, a
wow.
little over 3 months. I'm looking at the chart right now. It feels like but that's crypto for you, right? 3 months feels like a year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, really, yeah, I mean, not even 3 months because it was we hit that low at 57
That's what I'm saying. Like we
on May
entered,
4th. So,
yeah, like this range we're in, we entered it on like March 1st. And then, we had a big volatile candle on March 5th with a big, um, lower spike. And then that's when it pushed up to 73. And then it came down like almost 60. So that's kind of when the range started, was in March. It was the beginning of carving it out. But as far as it being established, yeah, I mean, it wasn't until, like you said, pretty much April, May. Yep.
see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty bloody for alts, but ironically, I mean, Bitcoin hasn't really moved a whole lot, which
You know,
I'm generally a fan of.
it's interesting because that made me think, all right, also getting wrecked, but Bitcoin's not down a ton. And it's like, all right, Bitcoin dominance is up over the last week. In fact, Bitcoin dominance is tapping the high of the year, or technically the high of, since 2021, because we're pushing back up. The lows of that in 2020, we were around 57%. We're 50, about 56 right now. I've been watching that level because that was big reversals around 57, 58 in prior years. Happened in 19, 20, 21. So I'm curious to see if Bitcoin dominance can bust above there. I don't think it can. I think also just too prominent now, but who knows? It's got a shot right now the way also selling off.
Yeah. Yeah, alts are bloody. I wasn't expecting this. We were talking pre-show that when Rune dipped below $6, I started buying pretty heavily, thinking, that was kind of the end of it. And it just kept going down. So yeah, it's been very bloody, and I think a lot of people would like us to talk a little bit about Hive and how Hive is doing. Because Hive is taking a beating. Um,
Cue the horror scream.
yeah, right. So another thing I bought was Hive at 25 cents. I actually put out a thread when I bought a pretty significant amount of Hive. I think north of like 200,000 Hive. Um, thinking that 25 cents was like a really solid bottom. Um, and I think it is and was a solid bottom, but I think what happened was Addicted actually posted some info in the Inleo Discord, that there was a lot of the upbit Hive started moving. So Upbit is liquidating a bunch of Hive. I think in total they had like 140 million Hive or so. And I think they liquidated like 30 million, something like that.
Whew.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to continue. I was kind of asking him. Obviously, he doesn't really know either. It's, Upbit is kind of an unknown entity in the space. Like we don't know what they're thinking or what they're doing or what their users are doing. But my understanding is that they're holding that Hive on behalf of their users. So that's obviously user funds, people who own Hive in spot, spot wallets on Upbit. So that's what I assume is happening. But the fact that Upbit is moving it to Binance, I guess that tells us that maybe a lot of people, a lot of whales on Upbit are possibly moving their stake around, or maybe Upbit's just doing whatever they want. So, regardless of why that's happening, I just use this as another proof point of why I've been standing on this soapbox for like 4 years about why we need to move our trading volume off of centralized exchanges and move it to decentralized exchanges and focus on growing the trading volume that happens on dexes. I've been um, a very large proponent of doing this, and I've been really busting my ass to try to make it possible in any way I could figure out. So you guys obviously know, we tried to do Beehive, and then that didn't really work out that well. So the new thing that we've built, which is what I wanted to build originally, the technology just wasn't ready yet, but now it's all done and ready. Is L1 Hive swaps. So now we have L1 Hive swaps using Maya, and Thorchain is going to be connected soon, and then Chainflip will be connected after that. And you'll be able to and you already can decentralized exchange your Hive with other L1s on Maya. And then, like I said, probably in the next like 6 to 12 weeks, I would say, pessimistically, you're gonna be able to trade your L1 Hive on Thorchain. So it's it's been very important to me that you can move this trading volume off these centralized exchanges. And I think this is just, again, another kind of proof point to my larger thesis about doing that. So Taskmaster just posted some links. So apparently he knows a lot more than we do. So Upbit has to review all their coins by law now. They might end up dropping it completely. And then he dropped a link to cryptonews.com. And it's basically talking about how Upbit and other Korean exchanges may delist hundreds of altcoins. And it looks like Hive is potentially on that list. So yeah, I mean, it's like I said, having 100% of your trading volume happen on centralized exchanges is not a good thing. And it's not that Hive is completely unique in this way. Up until semi recently, 100% of Bitcoin trading volume and other coins were done on centralized exchanges as well. But obviously, protocols like Thorchain have really grown, and now you're seeing millions of dollars in trading volume on a daily basis. Thorchain had their first $10 billion month in terms of trading volume this year. So you're starting to see a lot of trading volume move off of sexes and onto dexes. And I think that's a really important migration that needs to happen. And this is what I'm trying to do with LeoDex. I mean, I'm a very significant Hive holder in terms of, personal holdings. And obviously I don't like to dox all of that. But it's important to me that Hive succeeds, not just as a blockchain, because I think no matter what, Hive is going to succeed as a blockchain technology. But it's also important to me that it succeeds as a token and as a cryptocurrency. I think there's a lot of value in Hive and HBD, and I want to see them succeed. So building LeoDex and building the L1 Hive swaps is really important, and that's why LeoDex exists, and we continue to add to it and make updates. And by the way, a big update is coming today. So that's all super important. And I think this Upbit situation is just another notch in the belt of why this needs to happen.
He's an update, tell you.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, I actually commented on Task's comment about Upbit, and I'm like, well, maybe that's why a liquidation is happening, because if it's going to get delisted, so to speak, Probably don't need to be holding as much Hive.
Well, yeah, I mean, if Upbit, well, basically what's going to happen is if Upbit's planning to delist all these assets, they're going to basically just start selling them all off. It's not just Hive, it's any altcoin that they have to delist. And I've been saying this for a long time that, when it comes to centralized exchanges, it's really just a matter of time until, they delist you, they lose your assets, they go completely out of business like FTX, or any other number of things that could potentially happen with centralized exchanges. So, that's why I've been such a big proponent of decentralized exchanges. A lot of people have questioned, why I invested so heavily in Thorchain and Rune, over the years and since the beginning of that project. And I mean, I like as the years have gone on, I've been like almost like told you so. Like it's like every couple months, I'm like told you so. Like FTX happened, Binance basically closed down outside of KYC. MEXC just put out a notice that they're going KYC. Upbit is potentially delisting all these altcoins. It's really just a matter of time until all this stuff just kind of slaps you in the face, except for decentralized exchanges. That's the one thing that you kind of can't take away. It is that if you're doing L1 swaps where all the assets are in your wallet at all times, that's really the only solution to this stuff.
Did you see, and it could be straight FUD because at this point I don't know what's real and what's AI generated content. Um, I saw articles about FTX and how it was basically saying like FTX customers were almost going to be made whole based on all the assets that were covered. And then the argument was that because of that, it's going to be like, a boon to a lot of these coins that got completely wrecked because of the FTX, collapse, obviously touching on the FTX coin itself, and some others. I don't know if that was FUD or it was real. And I don't know if even if it is real, I don't know if I agree with that thesis that you're going to see these coins like magically moon because these people are being refunded.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I
mean,
feel like it's
if
almost like
anything, I would
counter.
think it's the opposite that,
Yeah,
these
exactly.
coins are illiquid right now, but are going to become liquid. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, it's I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, it's this is why LeoDex is so important. And I think I know that a lot of people look at it and they say, well, it's hard to use, it's hard to understand. I think it's already, I think, a lot easier to use than it was on day one, and it's only going to continue to get easier. I mean, at this point, you basically just connect. Like on day one, we launched with only Keystore. Now there's Keystore, MetaMask, and XDeFi, and then obviously Hive Keychain. So, it's already a lot easier to use. We built a whole new aggregation window that like walks you through the entire swap process, and if anything fails, it retries. So it's technology that we continue to improve, and it's only going to get better. And like I said, I think it's extremely valuable to move a significant amount of trading volume away from centralized exchanges and onto LeoDex. And it's like I said, a true L1 DEX is where you connect your wallets, whatever wallet you use, hardware, MetaMask, XDeFi, Hive Keychain, Keystore, whatever. You connect your wallets, you enter your input, you enter your output, you hit swap, and the assets leave your wallet and then they enter your wallet at the same time. And that is really, the key to decentralized exchanges. And I think this narrative is only going to keep getting bigger and bigger for all altcoins, not just Hive, but obviously, like I said, Hive is local to us. And I've done a lot of research about trading volumes on Hive, and like I said, 100% of Hive trading volume is happening on centralized exchanges. So my goal with LeoDex is to capture 10% of that, which obviously is going to be very beneficial to the Leo economy, because there's a small fee on every trade, and that gets collected by the Leo token economy. But in a more evangelical sense of things, I believe firmly that being on centralized exchanges is a existential threat. So you need to have some level of trading volume on decentralized exchanges. I'm a firm believer in that. Like I said, 100% of Hive trading volume is happening on sexes right now. And all I'm trying to do is get 10. Can we get 10% of that moved over to LeoDex? So that would be something in the range of about $8 million in trading volume per month. So it's really tiny in the broader scheme of things. But yeah, that is my mission for really this year and next, is how can we get that $8 million per month in trading volume moved off of Binance and moved onto LeoDex's rails. Because it's like, let's say that Upbit does, delist Hive. Now we're basically completely reliant on Binance. So that will be the number one. It already is, but it will be like really the only sex listing left for Hive. And, Binance, do we really want to sit here and be at Binance's discretion of whether or not they want to keep Hive on there? They already removed HBD. I believe they removed a couple other, pairings that were available. So now it's like Hive USDT, and I'm not even sure if Hive BTC is still there. So, it's just really important to get these other rails set up. I can't stress that enough. And I've been kind of on this soapbox for, like I said, pretty much 4 years now talking about this. And now that LeoDex is live, as of the last kind of 2 months, and the L1 swaps are already available on Maya for Hive. I think that's, now I not only have the thesis to tell people, I actually have the solution to it as well. I've been talking about the problem for long enough, and now the solution is actually available. Stakeen said we should spread the word of LeoDex to Upbit users. I agree. And Eric and I are actually working on onboarding some, Chinese communities and Korean communities to Inleo. We've already onboarded the Spanish community, and Sunseeker is really heading that up. But we are looking to get more, foreign communities, set up on Inleo. And a lot of them are big traders. So you look at like, the Korean side of things, and they may not be the biggest content creators on the blockchain on Hive, but they are one of the biggest group of traders for Hive. So yeah, spreading our awareness and messaging to them is really important.
I'm spreading the wrong awareness today. I gotta get new swag. I need new swag. I didn't realize I just realized I happened to be wearing this shirt today.
That's funny.
It's actually a really comfortable shirt in terms of the way it fits me. Um, and I updated where I got it from. Like I updated the logo, so it's got, in Leo. So I actually have to order one. I'm blanking on the name of the website now, but so I got to get around to ordering an in Leo shirt.
Yeah, and someone makes a good point in the threadcast. But yeah, also on the swag, I need to get some Inleo swag as well.
Yeah, you do. You should be wearing it.
Every
In Leo
day.
fleece right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fleece king these days. I'm always wearing fleeces.
Get a like right logo right here on the zip up
Yeah,
fleece.
yeah. I got to see if Lululemon will do a Inleo collab.
Look at you all bougie with your Lulu. That's
Lululemon is so,
hilarious.
honestly, it's so comfy. Like
Nice.
half my stuff
That's
is from there
funny.
at this point.
Oh my God, I'm way too frugal to be buying Lululemon.
You should buy. I actually tell people this, like, buy one thing because it is expensive, but buy one thing and like just try it, and like you'll be converted. I mean, it's just like
That's what I
it's
hear.
just
That's
so
what,
comfy. It's crazy.
that's what that's what all the ladies tell me because obviously, almost every girl that's not essentially broke wears Lululemon
Yeah. Yep.
and they love it. It's funny.
But yeah, what someone was saying in the threadcast was um the benefit of LeoDex growing expands to more than just, the Leo token economy growing, because, so you guys know that a percentage of the trading volume on LeoDex actually goes to the Leo cacao pool. And then on the Hive side of things, every time there's a Hive L1 swap, so every time there's a Hive L1 swap, there's a fee that's collected on the Hive blockchain by Leo. And then when it gets moved over to LeoDex, there's an affiliate fee on LeoDex that also gets collected. So there's two fees getting collected, and one of those fees is on the Hive blockchain, one of those fees is on Maya protocol. And On the Hive blockchain side, that fee is collected and then pooled in the Leo swap.hive pool. And then on the LeoDex side of things, that fee is collected and pooled in the Leo Cacao pool. So actually, every single trade that happens where there's an L1 Hive swap involved, or HBD, or SPS, or DEC, there's two fees being collected, and both of those fees are going to add liquidity to those two pools, which actually makes it easier for traders, down the line. It's almost like if every time you went and bought a cup of coffee, they took like 1 penny from your transaction and they applied it to the person that came after you. So it's like you are kind of like every time you go and buy coffee, you're making it cheaper for the next person to buy coffee after you, which obviously is how the real world works. But it is how LeoDex works, where every single trade you do makes the liquidity a little bit deeper so that the next time you or someone else comes in and trades, the fees and the slippage are lower. So it's a little bit counterintuitive to think about, but every time you trade, you are making the pools deeper. So I think it's a really important thing
Yes.
to kind of wrap your head around. And I realized that this is kind of a hard thing for people to grasp, which is why the next major update for LeoDex, which is going to drop, like I said, probably today. I'm grabbing a screenshot to put in the threadcast. It includes something we're calling the dynamic island, which is at the bottom of the screen. We actually are copying that term from Apple. But we built a dynamic island module where we can put a bunch of data into like a collapsible menu. And this data has all sorts of things, but at launch, it's going to have two pieces of information. One is going to be deployment status, and the other one is network status. So I just posted the screenshot for you guys, but the deployment status shows you there's now going to be a monthly target in terms of affiliate fees earned by LeoDex. And that monthly target, every time we hit the monthly target, we'll then buy Leo and deploy it in the Leo Cacao pool. So you can see, I just posted that screenshot. You can see we're 37% of the way to the June target. And I set the targets are set manually. I set the target at $500 a month to start. And then we'll kind of increase it over time because we want to see more and more, trading volume over time. But I think this is a really cool way to like gamify us all kind of working collectively to say, the more that we trade on LeoDex, the more Leo that gets bought off the market and pooled in that Leo Cacao pool. And this gives us like a collective mission to work towards. So it's like it's a leaderboard, kind of scoreboard for us to all look at. And like I said, I mean, we've made $185 out of 500 for this month. So it's 37% of the way there. It's really not that hard, especially with the target being this low to start, for us to hit these targets. And then every single month, we'll basically like, you'll see this volume target get hit, and then it'll deploy right into the pool. So it kind of makes it, fun and gamified. And we borrowed this from ThorSwap. ThorSwap has this thing called the monthly burn target. If you use their UI, you're familiar with it. So we're kind of borrowing from that, but obviously for us, it's deployment into the pool because we're not burning tokens. We're actually buying them off the market and then pooling them to create permanent liquidity. So Vince asked, is this $500 a monthly target for trading? It's actually $500 in fees. That is the target. So to get that, I'll do some quick math for you. To get $500 in fees, there's a 45 basis point fee on every swap. So that is what is that? Is that $1.1 million? Does that sound about right? Or is it 111,000? It's 111,000.
That probably sounds more reasonable,
Yeah, I think it's
but
111.
I'm not mathing. I'm just guessing,
Yeah, I hate mathing live. It's 111,000. So
which is completely, feasible and
for
reachable
sure, a
in
hundred
the
thousand.
current
I mean,
environment. And
$100,000 a month in trading volume. That's
yeah, well,
nothing.
and in order to get to that, we need, because I see every week I see the same questions, and that's fine because a lot of times it's new users, which, the reality is we want to see these same questions every week because that means there's fresh faces being onboarded, um, or people joining the threadcast for the first time. And I saw something that is probably super useful, and I don't know if it might have been Nifty, it could have been Eric. I think it was Nifty. that posted something that literally, and it could have been neither of them, that literally had every single LeoDex like tutorial article, tutorial video, like in one post in one place. So we need to make that something that's literally just like bookmarked somewhere.
It's right on the
Because
homepage, the
there you go.
docs. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
if you click
Because
docs on LeoDex, it takes you there.
yeah, because I've seen that question twice already, in today's threadcast. And in order for, and then I saw people asking about, fees and if it's cheaper than, sexes and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like the answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no. But, and this is just my personal opinion. Right now, it's more no, but that's because the liquidity pool needs to be deepened. And how do we do that? Well, we do that by there being, as Cal said, volume, right, which is going to create that liquidity, but also by people pooling, which um, I guess will happen over time. I did some last week. I pooled. I mean, dollar wise, it wasn't a lot of amount because, the value of Leo is only so much, especially with all the alts selling off. But I added a little bit, um, which was honestly pretty easy. It's gotten way better. I actually posted about it because, when LeoDex was first launched, it was a bit of a trying experience. And now it's pretty straightforward. You do it once to kind of understand it, and then you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Um, and then swapping like Leo, like right now, swapping Leo to Cacao is the most efficient and cheapest thing you can do out of pretty much all the pairs I've seen. I also saw someone ask, and we know the answer to this, can I swap Hive into other assets? And the answer is hell yes, you can. That's actually one of the best features about LeoDex is that now we have an easy way to basically just take Hive and swap it right into other tokens. So if you want to swap Hive into native Bitcoin, you can do it now. And I think that's one of the huge um, offerings LeoDex is going to give the Hive user base. It gives us an easy way to convert out of Hive if we want to, and convert into Hive. If you want to use some stable coin to buy Hive or use some Bitcoin to buy Hive. You know, and then there's caveats to all of that in terms of, all right, if I'm doing stable coin, it's obviously um, I just blanked on the chain, Cal. What's the chain that
Arbitrum.
Arbitrum? Yeah. So you're not using like ERC20 USDT. You got to convert it
Yeah, there's ways to
to
make the fees cheaper and that I would say probably in the next probably if not this week, then next week. I'm working on adding something where it will show you the cheapest routes. It'll basically rank order the cheapest routes for your Hive trades. So like for example, let's say that someone, because I think this is what's happening a lot, and people have DM'd me or posted about this, that like they'll quote out a Hive swap where you go from like Hive to Bitcoin or Hive to USDT on Ethereum. Um, and then they'll tell me, well, LeoDex is unusable because there's a $50 fee on a $200 swap. And I said, and my reply to them is, look at the blockchain that you're using. You're using Ethereum. That $50 fee is 90% of that is the Ethereum blockchain. So, yes, there's a $50 fee because you're choosing a blockchain that has $50 gas fees. So if you were to quote that same swap with, like you said, Cacao, which has really cheap fees, or my favorite pair is Hive and Rune, because Rune is tradable on centralized exchanges as well. So like if my plan is to like convert into, well, a lot of times I'm doing arbitrage. So like I'll do Hive to Rune, and then I'll send the Rune to a Sex, buy Hive, and then send it back to the Hive blockchain, and then that's a full route arbitrage. So it really depends on what route you pick. And I'm starting to realize that I thought it was more just common sense, common knowledge that when you're using a DEX, you choose multiple different assets to see what gives you the best price. And I think for those of us who are active on decentralized exchanges, like those of us who've used Uniswap, PancakeSwap, SushiSwap, ThorSwap in the past, we're familiar with the idea of I'll put in an input asset, whatever I want to sell, and then I'll choose different outputs and compare and contrast the fees that I'll pay and the slippage that I'll pay. I think that for someone who uses DEXs regularly, that's a normal thing to do. But I think for the average user who doesn't have a lot of experience with dexes, that's not a common sense thing to do. So what we're going to do is if you quote something that is like, say, a Hive to Bitcoin swap, and it says that the fees are $50, it will say, we've quoted the same, like there will be a little text somewhere. It'll say we've quoted the same swap. And if you switch from Hive to Bitcoin to say Hive to USDC Arbitrum, the fees will be 1/10. It'll be $5 instead of 50. And then you can click, it'll say swap now, and then you click that button, and then it'll change your route to be Hive to USDC Arbitrum. So I think that we need to build that, after seeing a lot of feedback from various Hive users on why they don't want to use LeoDex. I've found that to be one of the primary reasons. And speaking on that as well, Taskmaster said, even if there are some fees, you own Leo in your wallet, which means you have a stake in LeoDex. And I would also venture to say that if you have Hive in your wallet, you also have some ownership in the value of LeoDex based on some of the things I talked about, that it's important for the viability of the ecosystem to move to decentralized exchanges, but then also on the point that, half of those fees that get earned by LeoDex, on the Hive side of things, those actually are buying and pooling Leo and Hive together. So it's creating more liquidity and soaking up Hive assets. So it's, if you own Leo or Hive, it's really beneficial that you use it anyways. Obviously, I'm not saying to go out there and spend $50 on fees. I'm telling you to go out there and pick the routes where it's like $5, which is usually comparable to Sex's. And I saw Nifty actually just pulled up a screenshot, and I can see that he's already on the test server because I can see that he's using the new, there's a slippage. If you look at Nifty's screenshot he just posted, you can see that there's a slippage icon there. And it tells you the actual slippage of the trade and separates it from the fees. So, but you can see right now that if you were to trade Hive to USDC Arbitrum, you'll actually get paid $3.14. So you are not even, not only are you not paying fees, you are getting paid to make that swap. It's another point I've had to make to people is that it can depend on the timing. So like if at one point your swap may cost you $5, and at another point, like right now, if you did a swap, you'll actually get paid $3 to do that swap. So, timing is very important as well.
We just need to flip-flop it because I'm not selling Hive at the lows. I'm buying at the lows.
Well, and see, here's what happens. This is why we need more traders in general, because there's arbitrage that needs to happen. So right now you get paid if you sell Hive. But if people arbitrage that back to zero, then you'll get paid to buy Hive, because you'll get, once it's arbitraged and rebalanced, then the other side gets paid. It's kind of a really cool self-balancing system where right now it's incentivizing people to sell Hive because there's more people buying Hive right now. So when there's more people buying Hive, it will incentivize people to sell. When there's more people selling Hive, it'll incentivize people to buy based on the fees. So the fees will be cheaper for whichever side is underserved. It's kind of like, if you were at a restaurant and, they have a hot menu and a cold menu, and more people are buying the hot menu items and the cold menu items are starting to go bad, they might reduce the price or offer some kind of discount on the cold menu in order to make that stuff start moving. So it's kind of that type of setup, but all automated, so that, if a lot of you guys are buying Hive right now, then it's going to say, okay, well, if you buy Hive, you're going to pay a slightly higher fee because there's more people doing it. But if you're selling Hive, now it's a little bit cheaper to do so, and then it'll just kind of keep rebalancing itself.
I'm answering so many questions uh, in threads in terms of typing responses as opposed to verbally responding. I have a habit of doing that, which is probably good though, because we never get to all the questions.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm trying to keep up with everybody as much as I can.
I mean, and it was funny because I was looking at that comment too, that you mentioned from Task, and it's like, yeah, you have a vested interest. It's like we have no equity and no ownership in the sexes, but we do in LeoDex if you hold Leo. So It's like, all right, yeah, you're paying fees, but you're also like, in essence, earning from that, right? Because you're helping the value of Leo. So, um, that's always nice when you're spending money on something, but it also like indirectly benefits you on a broader scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is this? I'm
Vic
getting this
Van
error
said,
sometimes when it says,
are there
oh,
videos
sorry.
on how to do swapping? And yes, I've made a bunch
Yeah.
of videos, and those are all in the docs that Mitch mentioned earlier.
So when you go on LeoDex, there's a docs link basically.
Yeah, at the top, there's a link
Okay.
that says docs, and then you go to docs and then tutorials. It's all there.
Interesting. I wonder if it makes sense to put a how-to or tutorials link on the main page
Maybe.
instead of just saying docs, like have docs and have that. Um, because obviously docs includes more than just how-to stuff.
Right.
Um, Damn it, I just lost a question. The threads are moving too fast.
My trick is that I control click questions in a new tab when I see a good one, because the threads do move
Smart.
fast and easy to
I'm
lose them.
assuming this is probably a gas fee type thing. Tokenized Society said, I'm getting this error sometimes where it says I don't have enough funds, but I do. Maybe
I replied
he
to that
sent
one
a.
with text. I said
Oh,
that
you
I said to
did?
post a
All right,
bigger
cool.
screenshot with hashtag feedback so I can actually see, because I don't
Yeah, I'm
really
only
know what's
seeing
going on.
limited
He
stuff.
posted kind of a small screenshot that I can't
Funds to
see.
pay this. I think that's also one. I don't know. He's got more Bitcoin. I think I've gotten that message too before, but I just ended up changing the amount or something. Is converting HBD to Hive free like on Ecency? Um,
That would just be a Hive to HBD conversion, like using the
yeah,
conversion method on the Hive blockchain. So
exactly.
yeah, that's different than what LeoDex is, which is it's allowing you to swap with assets outside of the Hive ecosystem. So
Yeah,
let's say you want to buy Hive and you have Bitcoin in your wallet. That's what LeoDex lets you do.
exactly. And like it's funny too, as you talk about front end. So really like Ecency is just the front end. I mean, you're doing the conversion on the Hive blockchain. Like there's several front ends that you can actually do that same thing from in terms of converting HBD to Hive, which I've yet to ever do because Cat's impatient and doesn't want to wait. Because isn't that the thing where like it's what is it like 3 days or something? Or am I thinking
Three
something
days, I
different?
think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like 3 days. I ain't got time for that. Ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I see someone
What
else
is it?
mentioning something about how it's free to swap on Ecency and Hive front ends. Yeah, and like I said, we're talking about that's like comparing literally apples and oranges, because you're talking about on-chain conversions between Hive and HBD versus trading, off-chain assets with Hive and HBD, which would be, like
Exactly.
I said, if you have Bitcoin or you have Ethereum or you have USDC or you have Rune and wanting to swap that for Hive from one chain to another. That's a completely different thing than doing a HBD
Yeah,
to
I mean,
Hive
there's use
conversion.
cases, and I mean, I don't think Leo Dex is exactly the use case for flipping between Hive and HBD.
It's not,
Um,
yeah, that's not the purpose
it's
of
not at all. Like you
LeoDex.
do that, like either you do the conversion, you wait, or you do it on the internal market, and generally can get filled, same day as long as you're not like trying to get some crazy price. Um, so yeah, that's not even something that is really promoted service, so to speak. We got it. How to go about swapping 8 minutes ago. Video directives on how to go about. Yes, in the docs. Look for
Vic
tutorials.
Van and
LeoDex
someone
docs
else
tutorials.
also asked if there's any chance LeoDex is going to have an app. And I hear the same thing about Inleo. And guys, I think a lot of people misunderstand what apps are good for. This stuff is not good for apps. I completely disagree with the thesis that these need to be apps that are native app store apps, because you are making yourself completely beholden to the app store that you're on, and they can choose to remove you, they can choose to charge you fees, they can do anything that they want to you. which is very counter to the entire, idea behind the movement of crypto and decentralized exchanges. So in my opinion, having native apps for this stuff is just a completely like, it's more of a nice to have than a need to have. Like if you, can do it, it should be a secondary thing, if anything else. So I'm a huge fan of web apps, and we will be web app focused for, pretty much probably forever. Um, Unless somehow the app stores change their policies, which we've seen with Apple is very unlikely to happen.
Yeah, an app for LeoDex makes zero sense. It's kind of counterintuitive and counterproductive. Um, Obviously in Leo, yeah, that can be a thing, but also not be a thing based on the feedback you just gave. But yeah,
Right.
LeoDex makes zero sense.
And
And really because of decentralization, you know.
right.
So what do we got? Someone's asking about LTC, Litecoin. I forgot that's even a thing.
Yeah, some people still
Yes.
use it. I used to use it a lot back in the day, but obviously as more chains became interoperable, it didn't become as you know, as vital to use. But actually, Litecoin is coming for Hive L1 swaps when Thorchain gets integrated because Thorchain has Litecoin. And like I said, we're probably looking at about sometime within the next 2 months, I would say pessimistically, probably a lot sooner than that. We'll be able to do Hive L1 swaps to any Thorchain assets, which includes Litecoin. They're also working on Solana integration as well. So probably I think they'll probably have Solana integrated by the time the aggregator is live for Thorchain. So it's very likely you'll be able to do Hive L1 swaps with Solana, Litecoin, and all the other assets that are on Thorchain that aren't on Maya protocol. But I think even a bigger point than what is on Thorchain that isn't on Maya in terms of assets and blockchains supported is actually the liquidity on Thorchain. So, consider that once the aggregator goes live for Thorchain, all those pools that are very deep, so for example, the Bitcoin pool, the Ethereum pool, which are, I don't have it right in front of me, but I want to say off the top of my head that they're, at least 10 to 100 times deeper than Maya protocol pools. All of that liquidity becomes available on LeoDex for Hive L1 swaps. So keep that in mind. I saw Godfish was the one that asked about Litecoin. So, Litecoin will be tradable with Hive L1 assets as soon as that goes live. And those pools are extremely deep. So, yeah, I think the moment that Thorchain aggregation goes live is going to be really, really huge. And then another thing that's coming from the Maya team is streaming swaps. And when streaming swaps go live, if you're a user of Thorchain like I am, using Thorchain before streaming swaps compared to using Thorchain after streaming swaps was a literal night and day in terms of slippage. Completely changed the game. You could literally do 1,000 time larger swaps. So like, if you could before swap $1,000 with 1% slippage, you could literally do $1 million or like 10 million. I've seen a $10 million streaming swap before on Thorchain with 1% or less slippage. So think about how amazing that is. And now understand that Maya, actually on Mondays with Maya yesterday, Alex said that he thinks they'll be done with streaming swaps in the next week. And then they're basically going to push it to testing. And then after, a few weeks of testing, they'll push it live. So streaming swaps are going to be live on Maya protocol probably in the next month. I would say probably by the end of July. Obviously Maya team doesn't really give a whole lot of dates because they like to avoid the wins and they do a better job of it than I do. But I would say probably by the end of July, we'll have streaming swaps live on Maya protocol, which means that you'll be able to do streaming swaps with Leo and Hive assets. So the slippage on these trades is about to get a lot cheaper for larger swaps as well.
You know, Cal, something that I think is needed and should be super simple, and I just realized it's not there unless I'm missing it, but no, it's not there. In the toolbar on Inleo on the left, There should be a LeoDex link.
Yeah, that's actually already there on the it's on the test server. So
Okay,
it's
cool. Yeah,
waiting.
I'm not on labs.
Yeah, this well
I'm on
now the
regular.
lab server is private, but it
Oh,
is
gotcha.
one of
Okay.
the next updates. So I'll share a
And
screenshot.
like it needs to, that's fine. And I'm assuming it's like in the list that shows, like not in where you have to hit the ellipsis for the more. Like I think it should be visible,
Yeah, it is. I'll share a screenshot.
which is tough because I mean, it's like, what are you going to have? You know, what something's going to get pushed out then. It's like, well, everything that's there kind of needs to be there, but
Yeah, we just added it, but we can't add obviously everything there. So we'll see. Also,
no, no, would
the
you?
formatting right now is going to change. You can see that it's kind of not formatted correctly with the menu. The devs thought that that looked good, but I think it looks like shit. So we're going to change the icon on it,
What
but
do you
it's
mean
there.
it's not? What do you mean it's not
Do
formatted?
you see my screenshot?
Yeah, I'm
See
looking
how
at it.
the icon is like a blue Leodex, like it's like the actual Leodex color, but
Yeah.
that's not uniform with the rest of the menu. So
Oh,
my update,
I kind of liked it.
yeah, I mean my update to it is the X on Leodex. If you look at it, it's like a cross-chain swap X. I'm planning to put that there and make it gray like the other icons. It needs to be uniform. This is kind of driving me nuts that it's blue.
Okay. I thought it kind of made it stand out.
It does, but you don't necessarily want it to stand out that much.
I mean, the Leo Dex, I'm assuming it's white because you were on it, but the Leo Dex text, yeah, that can be gray. But
Yeah.
no, I hear you.
Yeah, I want to make it uniform with the rest of the
I don't
menu.
know. I'm thinking now I kind of want colors like the premium. The icon should be orange. The Leo Dex can be blue, and then the
Mitch
regular,
is all about the Juneteenth celebrations.
and then
He
everything else
wants
can
everything
be.
colors all the time.
There you go. And then everything else can be grayed out. All the regular stuff.
That's hilarious.
No, that's fine. But yeah, that's good that it's in there. I think that is a simple thing that just should be in the toolbar. So people can just click on that instead of manually having to go there. And then people can just even click on it, out of curiosity that don't
Yeah.
know about it. So,
Yeah. And speaking of LeoDex on Inleo, uh, something I'm really excited about that we're working on is the ability for people to earn uh, in their native asset and blockchain. And along with that will be the integration of other wallets where you can sign into Inleo using those wallets. So I'll give you an example of what the future looks like for Inleo. So let's say that we integrate the Solana wallets, the main wallet used by Solana users. And like I said, Solana is coming to Thorchain and Thorchain is coming to LeoDex. And obviously with Leo and Hive L1 assets, one of the integrations is going to be you can sign up to Inleo, log in with your Solana wallet in less than 30 seconds, and you can check a box that says that you want to earn in, let's say, SOL, Solana asset, Solana tokens on the Solana blockchain. You can choose that as the asset that you earn your crypto in when you use Inleo. So now when you earn Hive, Leo, HBD, whatever you're earning on Inleo, it will automatically get converted in your wallet to Solana and to the Solana wallet that you're connected to Inleo using. So it will basically make, and I'm just using Solana as an example. Imagine that you can do this with anything else like Polygon and all the other major blockchains that are out there. You'll be able to log into Inleo using the wallet from any of those blockchains and then choose what home asset you want, what native asset you prefer, and then your payouts will come as that asset. So, one of the arguments against that is going to be that, well, now you're introducing basically automatic selling, which is true. You are actually introducing a way that people don't have to go out of their way to swap Leo to whatever asset they want. When they earn Leo, it will get automatically sold. That being said, uh, consider that these users won't use Inleo, they won't use Hive because they're not familiar with it, they don't like it, they don't want to earn in some token that they don't know how to use. They don't want to be logged into some other blockchain and not know how to use it. So what we're doing is we're creating a bridge where these users can use what they're familiar with, but they still have a Hive account because we're doing the light account protocol where when they connect with their Solana wallet, for example, it creates a Hive account, and then that Hive account, when they interact and do things on chain, they have a full Hive account, but they're connected with their Solana wallet. So to them, it's no different than using to them. Like, this is my vision of Inleo. Whether you come from X, whether you come from Google, whether you come from Solana, whether you come from Thorchain or Maya or XDeFi, whatever protocol you are familiar with, it doesn't matter to me. I want using Inleo to feel like it's built on your blockchain. So I want Inleo to feel like, wow, I can't even tell the difference. That is this built on, Hive? Is it built on Solana? I don't know, because I log in with my Solana wallet and I earn SOL asset when I use the platform. So you don't know the difference as a user. And I think this is the key to getting hundreds of thousands and millions of users to Hive, is to make it so that they don't even know that they're using it. That's been my thesis for a long time. And if you look at the history of Inleo, I've been moving in this direction for years now. And the tools are finally in place for me to make this happen. So you look at LeoDex, you look at Inleo, you look at the wallet connections, you look at the light account protocol we built, you look at all the different cross-chain solutions, you look at the Hive aggregation technology. When you add all of these things up, what is it kind of leading you towards? It's leading you towards a platform that can be used where you come from any blockchain or any application and you use the platform as if it was a native app to whatever blockchain you're from, and you earn in assets, and those assets are whatever assets you want them to be. And like I said, the argument against this is going to be, well, now you're introducing forced selling and you're introducing automatic selling of Leo, because these people are going to earn Leo, and then it's obviously getting automatically sold into like Solana being the example here. That being said, Taskmaster already said it in the Threadcast. When these people are probably already going to sell anyways, like they want to earn in these assets. So number one, they probably won't join the platform unless this was in place. Number two, even if they did join the platform and it wasn't in place, they're probably still going to want Solana, like our SOL. And I keep using that as just an example. There's plenty of other ones out there. So they're probably going to want that anyway. So that means that they're going to go out and sell anyways. What we're actually doing is creating forced trading volume on LeoDex and the Hive aggregation technology. So, this means that every time let's say that there's, 1,000 Solana users and they earn $1,000 a month on Inleo, and they all want SOL. Now we're introducing $1,000 in forced trading volume every single month through the LeoDex rails. And on those rails, you're going to have the LeoDex fees that are already there, but then you're also going to have an extra fee. So if you choose this option, there's actually going to be an extra small fee for automated payouts. And that small fee is going to go towards deepening the liquidity. So it introduces a third fee on all these swaps, and that third fee also goes to deepening liquidity. So you've got people that are already going to sell anyways, probably won't join your platform unless this was in place. And now you're also adding a fee on top of it, for this, because this is a service. I mean, you're saving them time, you're saving them energy and resources to learn how to use new technology. So you're automating all this stuff, and in exchange for automating it, you're introducing a fee, and that fee is going to buy Leo and pool it permanently. So, which then again makes it cheaper for all the other people who go out there and want to trade Hive L1 assets or trade on LeoDex, trade Leo to anything else. So it's like I said, that is probably the biggest counter argument to my vision of what Inleo is becoming. But I think between introducing that fee and between the two ideas that they, one, wouldn't come, and two, they're going to do it anyways, you might as well have, all the automation in place and then charge for that service and have Leo be the value accrual for that, for that service. So, this is kind of my 5-year vision of where Inleo is headed. And this vision started, I would say with Project Blank. So that gives us, the past 2 years, essentially 2 to 3 years. So I would say, over the next, I would say over the next year, you're really going to see this start to take shape. And I would say by the end of 2025, it's going to be, Inleo is going to be a platform where anyone from any blockchain can log in and use it and feel like they're still on their home blockchain. But at the end of the day, all the all the engagement, all the tokenized earnings, everything's happening on Hive. But then at the end of the day, when they get paid out, it gets paid out to whatever they choose, whatever wallet, whatever blockchain, whatever asset they want. So this is all kind of in the long-term vision of Inleo and where we're headed. And I think this is how we get to 100,000 users, 100,000 monthly active users. I think we get there by integrating all these different blockchains, integrating all of their wallets, and allowing their users to choose what asset they earn in, whether it's Solana on Solana, SOL on Solana, or anything else. It's by doing these things. This is how we get to 100,000 MAUs. And keep in mind that every monthly active user on Inleo is a monthly active user on the Hive blockchain. So the Hive blockchain, between all those different social apps and Splinterlands and everything, is somewhere in the range of 8 to 10,000 monthly active users. So, I'm laying out my roadmap by the end of next year to aim for 100,000 monthly active users. And to get there, like I said, we need all these tools that have been built over the last basically 3 years by our team, and all of the things that are coming over the next 2 years. That's what's gonna get us to 100,000 MAUs. So, the goals this year, the goal is still to get to 10,000 MAUs. And I think we're going to do that with X and Google integration, which we already have, and then just kind of growing the use cases on the platform. And then what's really going to take us to that 10x, 100,000 MAUs level is going to be all these different blockchain connections. Because now imagine that our target audience is every single blockchain, every single asset. That is now the target audience, and there's built-in value accrual for the Leo token. And as the Leo token goes up, it's going to become more and more valuable to create content and engage on Inleo. So now it's like it's reinforced marketing on these other blockchains. So this is where we're headed. And I'm excited to kind of roll these things out. And I know a lot of you guys keep saying when Leo AI. And yes, Leo AI plays a key role in the subcategory of making Inleo's platform more engaging and a more fun experience. Leo AI plays a key role. So that is a part of the roadmap, on the way to the end of 2025, which I just laid out.
All the plans.
All the plans. Yeah, you guys heard me talk about Project Blank for years. And we did it. I mean, look at Threads today. Look at, if you go back 3 to 4 years in time, where Project Blank was literally just an idea that I was talking about. Look at where we are now. Look at how different, back then we were Steam Leo, 3, 4 years ago. We were Steam Leo. We were a, forked front end with a community and a token, and that was really it. You could do long form blogging. And then now, we've got LeoDex. We have our own cross-chain trading UI. We have the Hive aggregator, allowing people to trade Hive L1 assets. We've got Threads, long form. We've got Premium, which is a built-in revenue model. Things have really started to take shape. And it's like I said, this has all been in the long-term kind of 5-year plan of what I wanted to achieve. And now all these things are in place.
And at the end of the day, I mean, it's the same fundamental thesis, so to speak. The success of all this inherently comes down to user activity, which means user growth, user engagement. So, all these questions I see coming through that people are asking you, I'm like, that's great. And I love all the technical aspects of it, and I love the offerings, but more at the end of the day, like, yes, more availability, more offerings makes it more interesting and enticing and user friendly, which helps grow user base. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to user base needs to grow, user engagement needs to grow. So, as a community, the best thing you can do besides engaging and using the services is also helping onboard and bring more people into the ecosystem,
Absolutely.
which in turn benefits, the community and yourself, because a growing community makes it more robust, which makes all these things that the Inleo team has developed that much more valuable.
Yeah. And, 2 points based on that, on what you just said about, the community needing to onboard more people and be more active. I've got 2 points on that. One, you guys may have seen there was a blog post from at Leo Finance this morning, and it announced the new community battles and wars. So we've got 7 communities that are engaged in this already. And there's already one more community that we're onboarding for July. And then if anyone else has a Hive community and wants to reach out to us, they can reach out. So yeah, Simple Game is here, but I think we're going to get his community in for July. But the 7 communities were already partner communities. They were ones that we were in talks with about this stuff for the past couple weeks. But basically and you guys can go check out the post for the actual details. But basically the community wars idea has been something I think I first mentioned it probably about a year and a half ago, I would say. It was when, Project Blank was like getting ready to be launched, and I was talking about communities and my vision for them. And now we're launching it without the tools necessarily in place, because I do want to build a leaderboard and an actual UI for this. But as Taskmaster will remind you guys, one thing I like to do is build the activity around something, and then build the tools once you see that there's an actual adoption of it. So if you guys take this and run with it, this idea that I have about community wars, then I'll add something. I'll add a new page to the front end where you can actually track the status of the war, see which communities are winning, etc. For now, we're actually doing this in a more manual way. So what's going to happen is a community battle just started, and battles are 1 week long, and the war is 4 weeks long. Obviously, this first war is only going to be till the end of June, so it's only 2 weeks. It's a smaller one. But then starting in July, they'll be 1 month long. And instead of having a front end for it, instead of waiting to build the front end for it, I wanted to start it right now, and we're going to do it manually. So that the Inleo team, you're going to start to see us post screenshots of the SQL data. So we're going to pull the data from the blockchain on which communities are winning, and we'll post it each morning so that you can check in on the status of the different communities and how they're performing against each other, and you can see who's winning the current battle, who's winning the current war. So we'll do all this manually on threads, and then while this is happening, we're gonna really think about, like, if this gets traction and it starts to take off, we're gonna really think about how can we build out the UI as a framework so that we can automate the things that we're doing manually, which is sharing the data, et cetera. So I think, Taskmaster said competition and gamification is a good thing. I definitely agree. And I think communities are going to be a great way to seed that engagement. And why I brought it up, because Mitch mentioned that for you guys, the goal should be onboarding new users. And I completely agree with that. So, what I want to see is there's actually built in, and if you go to the post, you'll find this, but built into the community wars, there is a monthly a way to earn point, because you have to basically earn points in order to win the war. One of the biggest ways to earn points is by referring the most new users to Inleo throughout the month. So if your community wins that task by onboarding the most new users, and you do that by using your community's referral code, if your community wins that task, it gets 500 points towards the war. And there are a lot of prizes in there, and I'll let you go read the post if you want to see all the prizes and whatnot. But that is there, and it's meant to encourage these communities to say, all right, we are the photography community, and if we want to win the battles and win the wars, we need to make our community bigger. And while doing that, we also get points for the referrals. So now let's go out and let's make a subreddit. Let's go on X and let's be more active, and let's spread our referral code and try to onboard more people into our photography community. And then you can grow engagement that way. So I think this is going to be a really big way that we not only onboard new users, but actually encourage more engagement on Inleo directly, encourage some friendly competition, and also I think it has the, kind of secondhand benefit of spreading Leo stake. So, the rewards for these community battles and wars are primarily Leo power delegations, in the hundreds of thousands range. So I think it also has the secondhand benefit of really spreading the stake of Leo outward, and allowing more people to earn it. So I'm excited to see how they go. Like I said, go check out the blog post. And if you're in, there's 7 communities right now. If you're in one of those 7, your community leaders, I'm sure, are going to be making posts and talking about it soon as well. But it is live as of now. So, the communities can start engaging and getting active and competing. And we'll post, like I said, every morning. The Inleo team is going to make a thread post where we give all the current data and talk about who's winning, etc. And all the good stuff. So that is coming. And then my second point to what Mitch said about referrals is that, and I actually put out a thread this morning talking about it. We are rebuilding the leaderboard, so I'm completely redesigning the leaderboard from the ground up. And now the leaderboard is going to be a weekly and monthly points system. So it's going to be a whole nother gamification layer. And to earn points, you get like, for, let's just say all examples, but when you make a thread, you'll get 1 point. When you make a comment on a blog post, you'll get 1 point. When you make a blog post, you'll get 10 points. And when you refer a new user, you'll get 100 points. And then when you stake Leo, you'll get, like, say, 10 points for every 100 Leo you stake. So there's going to be all these different ways to earn points, and the leaderboard is going to be completely redesigned, completely different than what it is right now. So I'm really excited about both the actual design of it, because I think it looks really cool, and then the point system that we've built behind it, I think is really cool, and will encourage a lot more people to both be active on the platform and actually chase after referrals. And one thing I'm talking to Eric about right now is doing monthly prizes and weekly prizes based on the leaderboard as well. So whoever has the most points, at the end of each week, maybe we'll give out some prizes for that. Whoever has the most points at the end of the month, maybe we'll give out, even bigger prizes for that. Maybe you can earn like a free month of premium. You can earn, delegations. You can earn Liquid Leo, all sorts of things.
And so our simple game asked no points for a comment on a thread, which,
That would be a comment on a thread would be a thread. So that would be 1 point.
oh, there you go. So
Because
the
technically
answer is
it's still a
yes.
thread.
Yes, it's a sub-thread, but
The
it's a
thread of
thread.
a thread.
Interesting.
Vince said, if the community lost all the battles, will they still continue battling? Yeah. So the battles are every week, and then and then the war is for a month. So there's 4 battles each month, and you get 250 points for each battle you win. And then obviously whoever at the end of the month has the most points as a community, that community wins. And then so you earn points for battles, and then you also earn points for referrals. So let's say that you're falling behind, you keep losing battles, you can go after the referral bonus too, which is 500 points, which is worth 2 weeks of battles. So we've kind of designed it that way where getting external users onto the platform is the most valuable thing you can do to grow the platform. So that's the best way to earn points. So yeah, throughout the month, I would say, and I even put in that post, that the best strategy is going to be, work with your community and try to win the battle throughout the week. And while you're doing that, try to onboard some new users, even if you onboard one person at a time. Onboard some new users and try to grow your referral bonus, because if you can grow that, then you can solidify a really good lead. So I think some cool strategies are going to come out, and it's one of those things where I take the idea, throw it out there, and then you guys need to run with it and figure it out. So, like I said, I told the team, let's just make the prizes really good. Let's make them like really juicy prizes that get you guys engaged and active. And then, from there, you guys will run with it and make of it what you will. And then, like I said, if this idea works out really well and we get a lot of engagement, I'm going to build out a UI for this.
I wonder if Task is going to be the top free agent for communities based on activity. Is
Yeah, if
Task
I were
like
a community, I'd be
the
trying to recruit them. That's for sure.
Task is like the LeBron of Inleo. Hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Um, oh my God, the questions are moving too fast. Simple Game said he's drafting Nifty, and then said, "Oh, we should do a draft. That would be funny, actually." Um,
So a friend of mine had because the he said draft, this reminded me of it. A friend of mine who's on Inleo, is thinking about doing something where because we've been talking about these threadcast ideas, and you've seen Taskmaster and myself and a bunch of other people doing all sorts of threadcasts for all sorts of different things. One idea he had was, because he does this in real life with, friends and family. He basically does like betting pools, where you all like pool together, and then he'll make sports bets. And I
Now you caught my interest.
Yeah, I'm not huge on the whole sports betting thing, so it's a little bit outside my wheelhouse. But
Oh,
basically what he'll do is he'll pool about, like, every week you can throw some money at him, and then he'll pool it all together and then make his, parlay bets and whatever. But his idea is for major sporting events doing a threadcast and then doing a betting pool where you can send him HBD on chain, and then he'll add you to the betting pool. So I don't know if we'll see that, but it could be kind of cool for a threadcast with a lot of engagement, and then also
I
have like a
mean,
betting pool that's run somehow. I don't know how it works, but I think it could
us
be
us
interesting.
sports DJs would love it. I'm sure I would not be able to help myself and end up throwing some HBD. I mean, I'm technically doing that right now. I got a buddy that just headed out to Vegas for the World Series of Poker, and he's going to play in the main event and some other bracelet events. And I'm just like, and he's basically sold some of his action. I was like, I got to get a little bit. I'm like, I'm broke right now, but I still got to have a little bit. I'm like, can't have you go on a run and me not be part of it. So, and it's a guy I've known, for almost 20 years. He's a really good poker player. Um, Basically plays for a living. So, yeah,
Nice.
it's definitely a thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would certainly throw some HBD at your buddy for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see. I told him just make a thread cast and make your posts about it, and see what happens. Like, I don't know the logistics of how to make it work. I think he's probably thinking about that. But and this is just an idea. And I asked him if I could share it live and if he cared, and he doesn't. So if you guys are hearing this idea, maybe Taskmaster or some others who are more active in the sports game, maybe Django will get revived and do this. I think it's a really cool idea. I mean, all you have to do is make a thread cast, and then you tell people what you're planning to bet on. And if they want to place a bet, they can send HBD to your account. And then when you place the bet, you can just take a screenshot and share it just to prove, I don't know, I guess to prove that you're making the bet. And then if it pays out, then you pay everybody out. That seems logical to me. But like I said, either he'll do it, or maybe one of you guys are hearing this and you'll do it. I don't know. Do with the idea what you
Yeah,
will.
I'm always thinking about too that maybe have a different thought of, you know, and again, I don't know at some point if this is the thing or not. And sometimes I'm back and forth on whether it should be a thing in terms of like paywalls in regards to like, exclusive content. But that's a prime example of it. Like if he's decently successful at sports betting, he could basically post, his bets, like what he's going to bet, and sports enthusiasts can essentially just see that information and then go make the bets themselves. But in order to see that information, you got to be subscribed to his channel.
Right.
So that's definitely a use case for that, which exists, obviously now. I mean, there's tons of websites that's the business model where people subscribe and you know they're giving you all their analysis, and whether they're creating alpha or not is up for debate, because being profitable sports betting is hard, but yeah, there's handicappers that do it. There are people that bet sports for a living. I've physically met them, um, but it's also not the majority of people,
Yeah.
which makes sense but yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I like
But I
what you just
mean,
mentioned about tying it into the, only Leo's subscription model. I think that's a cool idea. I know some people IRL as well who have like group chats that they set up, and they'll invite people to it. And then they'll
yep.
basically share their bets, and then they just say, if you win consistently, throw me a bone or whatever. Um, so
And
yeah,
yeah, you can do it that way too.
yeah,
Just like, set up donation instead, go that route. But at the end of the day, I mean, all this plays into decentralization, right? Because in Leo becomes the platform where, people can do that. So if there's, quote unquote, ability to have a paywall, you know, you can have someone that is a professional sports bettor that says, all right, here, you can get all my picks, just, sign up to my community, or you can have whatever, stock research, someone that, is active in the stock market or is an active day trader or whatever it is, or options trader. And so it becomes a platform for all, right? It's not like specific. It's not just, oh, this is a platform for stock traders. So it creates the tools for anyone to
Exactly.
jump on
That is
and
the
build their own community.
right. And that is the broader thesis of what we're doing is we're building all these tools and you guys, make your use cases out of them. Taskmaster actually said, where I pulled it up in a new tab. He said every premium member should try to set up a threadcast and experiment with some ideas about it. And I 100% agree. I mean, I think there are so many ideas out there for threadcasts that we haven't even thought of yet. And I really want to see more usage of them. I've been trying to use them more as well. So I think at this point, because I've been doing every Monday, I've been doing a threadcast for the Maya protocol, the call that they do every Monday, Mondays with Maya. So I've been doing a threadcast for that. Obviously, we've got today, Tuesday is the AMA. So the Inleo AMA threadcast. Tomorrow we've got chain chatter, which speaking of, tomorrow we have a really interesting chain chatter. We'll have the founder of Maya, Alex, and then we also have They Call Me Dan. So we're bringing both of them on at the same time, and we're going to just be talking about, more of a broad, thesis on decentralization and, freedoms in general, kind of just talking about like the deck space, the decentralized social media space. Obviously, that's where Dan's expertise comes in and free speech and whatnot. So we're gonna have both of them on, and I think it'll be a really good show. I'll kind of do host it a little bit more like a round table and just kind of I'm preparing some good questions. So we'll just kind of pass the mic between Alex and Dan and get their takes on the broader decentralized world that's out there, and our thoughts on it. So chain chatter tomorrow at noon Eastern. Just had to throw that in there. But anyways, Wednesday I do the chain chatter threadcast. Thursdays, I think, is the only day of the week with no show. And then Friday is Taskmaster's Lion's Den at 1 p.m. Eastern every Friday. So we've got pretty solid lineups of Threadcast. We'll have to build a Threadcast calendar soon. I know a lot of you keep asking for that. So coming soon.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
But yeah, I mean, any major event, any major live event of any kind. I remember for the last Super Bowl, I did a Threadcast, and that was really engaging. I think we did like 1,500 comments or something. I don't even remember. It was super engaging. So, oh, Tasser said Thursday is the marketing show. That's right. We did do that marketing show, and I do want to do that every Thursday. So I got to make sure Eric is good to go for that. But yeah, Thursday is possibly that marketing show because I do want to talk more about marketing in public and what we're doing to onboard more users because I know a lot of people ask questions about what we're doing and how we're maintaining our activity and onboarding people from the outside in. So I think on Thursdays we'll resume those and talk about all the things that we're doing because I mean, hopefully you guys hear it in the AMAs that there's just a lot of directions that we're headed in, but the team is, bigger than it's ever been. So we've got, a lot more manpower now. So yeah, let's see how things progress.
Oh, we've been going like an hour and a half now.
Oh yeah, wow. All right, well, before we jump
Time
off,
flies.
I don't know if you've got any questions that you've picked out. I think I've covered all of mine.
No, I mean we're pretty much caught up.
Stakeen asked earlier, what are the numbers concerning LeoDex? There are some Maya scan links that you can look at where you can see those numbers. And then, like I said, I shared that screenshot earlier too, where you can actually track on LeoDex's UI. I think we'll push this update today. After we jump off this call, I'm gonna go and meet up with the dev for LeoDex, and I have a couple pieces of bug fixes and feedback that he needs to do. So he'll probably do those today and then I think we'll push to production by tonight. So LeoDex will have its update pushed tonight with all those new features, including, some updates to the aggregator. Like I said, the fees and slippage are separated. the dynamic island with the trading fee goals and the network status of Maya, and a couple other updates as well. There's actually a big mobile update too for LeoDex that makes it a lot more mobile friendly. I shared a screenshot of that in the threadcast earlier as well, while we were talking. So that should get pushed tonight. And I just also sent the link in the threadcast to track the LeoDex interface and all the trading volumes.
You know what? I think I have a basic user question that some people may not know. How does one actually start a threadcast or create a threadcast?
Good question. Yeah, I think we need to add a tutorial somewhere on this because it hasn't been talked about in a while. But to make a threadcast, all you have to do is make a thread and include. So if you look at the top thread in the threadcast that I'm obviously running for the AMA right now, all it is it's text, and then it has the hashtag threadcast, and you can see how that's formatted in my thread. Um, as long as you have that hashtag, then it is officially a threadcast, and you'll see that when you make a thread that's a threadcast, there's a button. So you guys see that green button that's lit up that says threadcast, and it's like a pulsing green icon. It's to let you know that the threadcast is live. And obviously you can actually, some people don't know this because I saw a few asking about it. If you click on that button, it actually turns off the live updating. So like if you're having trouble reading questions, you actually can click that button. It'll turn gray, and then the live updating of new threads won't come in. So then you won't be like jumping down the page. You'll actually have to manually refresh to get the new ones. I prefer to have it, live so that I can see the new ones coming in. So as long as you have that hashtag, then it's a threadcast. And some people wonder how you get to the top of the page. So like you see there's 5 threadcasts going right now, including mine. To get to the top of the page, you have to be premium. And as long as you're premium, if you make a threadcast, it'll go to the top once it reaches 15 comments. So use the hashtag threadcast, tag, be premium, and then get 15 comments, and then you'll be at the top of the page.
Cool. I think that was super useful.
Cool. Yeah, I think we should
Yeah.
put that in the docs somewhere because I don't think we ever updated the docs about that.
Probably not. Yeah, that's just a simple tutorial.
Yeah,
And it's
and,
cool
and
that, there's 5 threadcasts going on right now.
yeah, and that's another case of something that we've kind of built semi-manually. I mean, it technically is automated, like there's no one sitting there approving threadcasts. But you know, I think the UI eventually will be built out even better than what it is right now, where you make a tag and it's kind of semi-manual, like I said. So in the future, I think what we're going to do, especially I think we'll probably do these at the same time. When we do the Threadcast scheduler, we'll also do the Threadcast UI so that when you make a Threadcast, you don't just use the hashtag. You'll actually have kind of like with polls, you'll actually have like a button where you can click it and then it'll have you like fill out a form and then you click submit and then that will turn into a Threadcast. And then we'll be able to do more cool things with the formatting. So another thing I want to do is when you're making the original Threadcast, you can include like a YouTube link or an X space link when you're making it. And then it'll pin that link to the top of the Threadcast so that when new people come in, they'll be able to find whatever you're speaking on easier. So there's a couple features coming. We'll probably bundle all those at the same time and do them all in one update. I'll shoot for doing that in July, I think.
Cool. So I think a great way to wrap this up is with the altcoin sell-off, might be a good buying opportunity. Maybe not. Historically, probably yes. It's been the beauty about crypto. Generally, as long as you're willing to hold long enough, right, you end up being right. As long as it's not some scam project. So I think we can wrap, and I'd love to see other people's comments. Hive and Leo, notwithstanding, I think those are obvious. What's everyone's favorite alt to buy on the dip right now? I think we all know Cal's answer is Rune, but if there's any other, let us know. But yeah, I'm super curious to see what people's thoughts are.
Yeah. And Nifty, last thing from the Threadcast before I give my sign off, but Nifty said we got to change the sentiment because it's funny that it's a lack of understanding, but this is the case for a lot of users. And I agree. You can see the screenshot he posted, but yeah, I mean, I think people just tend to get really frustrated when they don't understand something. So what I've been seeing related to LeoDex is that, a lot of people just don't understand it. And rather than be patient and learn, they run away from, a lack of understanding. So, I think that's just a general theme in life, that, some people are the type of people where they see something brand new that they don't understand and they get really curious and they're like, wait, I need to understand this. But then there's a lot of other people out there who look at something that's unfamiliar, and they get scared by it. And then, their reaction is to either hate on it, close it immediately, or tell other people not to use it because it sucks, or some combination of all of the above. So I think it comes down to personality, and some people just aren't open to learning new things. But I think with LeoDex, we've made something that's really easy to use, really simple to understand. Like I said, we're going to continually improve it as well in any way that we can figure out. Um, and I think that's just going to be how we progress. But I'm never surprised when I see people react in a way where they say that something sucks because they don't understand it. I think that's just a common theme in life. And when you're building new tech and bleeding edge tech, you got to get really comfortable and familiar with that feeling and feedback that people give. So that's what I've learned over the years. Yeah, and in terms of the altcoin market, I have been buying a lot of Rune. Like I said, I bought like 200,000 Hive at 25 cents, thinking that that was going to be a really solid bottom. I think 20 cents is going to hold, but it's like I said, there's a lot of FUD around Hive right now, and all altcoins that are on Upbit. It's possible that Upbit is kind of leading in on some of this bleeding that's happening in the altcoin market because, like Mitch said, Bitcoin's not performing too badly. I mean, we're still at 65K, so honestly, that's not too bad relative to where the alts are. What's Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance is at 56. Actually, on the last AMA, I was talking about how I thought Bitcoin dominance was kind of high, and now it's even higher. So
Yeah.
if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's actually pretty topped out. It's at one of its highest levels since, where are we at?
Yeah, I don't know.
Since April 2021. So
Yeah, I don't know. Were we talking? We might have been talking about that offline. I don't remember if I was live
oh,
because yeah, I was
maybe.
looking at that and no, it's exactly the same sentiment. Like we're basically at the quote unquote like bottom, so to speak, from like 2020, 2021, before we had the huge, altcoin rally. So I'm very curious to see if this like 57, 58 area is going to act as a top for Bitcoin dominance, or if we're going to push into levels that we haven't seen in a long, long time. I'd be very surprised just because altcoins are much more, you know, prevalent now than they were in 2020, just in terms of sheer number of coins, right? Which eats up more market cap. Um, so it shall be interesting. But yeah, altcoins are definitely taking a hit right now, which over the long run is probably a buying opportunity, you
Yep.
know.
I
Could
mean,
could they go down further? Sure. But at some point, it's like even like think about Hive. Like Hive's at 20 cents. It's like, well, more than likely at some point Hive is going to be above 20 cents again. The question is it a month from now? Is it 3 years from now? Like you don't know, but pretty much anyone that's generally bought Hive 20 cents or below at some point was right, just in terms of sheer price speculation. So, but
yeah. And I put out a thread yesterday, last night, and I said, a lot of us in crypto turn to X and we turn to Inleo threads, we turn to social media to try to see what's going on, to try to figure out what's going on, to talk about what's going on in the crypto market. And I had three key pieces of advice, which I'm having trouble pulling up the thread right now, but I'll just try to rattle it off from memory. Um, my first piece of advice was look at and remember what your high conviction plays are. For me, obviously that's, Rune, Hive, Leo, Bitcoin, and lately Cacao I've been getting pretty heavy into as well, because of the LP for Leo. So those are kind of four of my high conviction plays. So my first piece of advice is look at your high conviction plays and try to remember why are they high conviction plays? Is it, do you have a 5 year, 10 year vision of why this thing is going to succeed? And if you do, then you've got nothing to worry about. And then number two is once you've done that, what you should be worried about is not, if this is going to go to zero, because if it's a high conviction play, the price going down shouldn't change your mind about it. So what you should really worry about is how can I buy more? Where can I get some excess capital and deploy it against my thesis about these assets? So for me, I've been buying all four of those, and I've been trying to, get some good increased exposure for when they do eventually go up. And my third piece of advice is to, get away from the computer a little bit, get away from the phone. I think the common saying right now, like what the kids are saying, as they say, is go touch grass. But my advice is, yeah, go touch grass, go work out, exercise, eat some healthy food, feel good about yourself. I personally like physical exercise for that purpose. Because a clear mind is, a signal that you're a better decision maker. So try to clear your mind by doing something physical. Those are my three pieces of advice for when things dip and you try to not lose your mind.
Facts. Yeah. State is huge, like your mindset and just your state of mind. Because yeah, it's easy to get sad when the market's going down and then you make crappy decisions. So, um, yeah, everyone has a different remedy, therapy, whatever you want to call it. So mine's still basketball, as much as it's getting harder to play as I get older. And I'm actually going to be going in about an hour and a half to go play ball. It's beautiful outside after a week of rain. So I'm looking
Is your
forward
is your
to
shoulder still bothering
getting
you?
some fresh air. No, my shoulder, no.
Oh, okay.
Shoulder, that was occasionally it flares up, but the shoulder's fine. I mean, I got through that. No, for me, it's perpetual hamstring issues.
Oh, okay.
So my left, yeah, my left side.
I was gonna send you
It's
something because one of my buddies has a bad knee and he just got it, and they have all different ones, but I'm getting the one for my shoulder because I've got a bad shoulder. Um, but it's like a hyper ice attachment thing, and it goes on,
okay.
and then it does heat and cool, and he said it's like
Oh,
completely been
nice.
a game changer for his knee. His knee is like 100% now. So
I might need it for my knee. My left knee is also becoming a problem.
yeah, I'm gonna get it for my shoulder. I'll send you a link for it, and if it works on my shoulder, I'll let you know. It's like, I mean, it's a little expensive. It's like $400, but
Damn.
yeah, I
Yeah, no,
mean,
send me the link anyway. So, because like,
yeah,
yeah, I have an ice, I have a thing for my shoulder that's just obviously like an ice pack for your shoulder that wraps around like your arm and like your shoulder that I use here and there when like my rotator cuff is flaring up. But yeah, most of my drama is with my left knee and my left hamstring.
yeah.
So,
I'll send you the link. I think
but
I think it does like massaging, heat, and cool. It's something like that.
oh, there you go. The
Yeah,
massaging is huge. Honestly, that's been a game changer for me that I've embraced way too late in life. And, personal care tips people. So I was never big on like any kind of massage work, but it's been game changing for me. Like I had bad sciatica too, same thing with the left side. And literally after 2 sessions, like good to go. Like I haven't felt any like pain with sciatica in months now. And I still occasionally go see the person to get work done, but it's always extra emphasis on my hamstring. But it's kept me functional to be able to play ball. So um, as we get older, we spend more money on healthcare. Cal's screwed because he's still in his 20s and he's already falling apart. I had zero injuries in my 20s,
yeah.
so
I spend a lot of money on recovery stuff, acupuncture, massage
wow.
therapy, cryo, saunas.
That's insane,
It's
dude.
half of
I
my
did I
life.
did none of that in my 20. I literally never even really had an injury that like I had injuries, but nothing that ever caused any, strife after the fact until I was like mid 30s. And then since then it's just been perpetually a cycle. And now, you know, you gotta just it's maintenance. And I play ball with some guys that are much older than me and they tell me they're like, dude, you can't stop. Like they play 3, 4 days a week. They're doing all the things, in terms of maintenance. They got all the gear on. It's like, oh, the the knee brace, the compression stuff, the all the things. So, but hey, also it keeps you going because
Right.
if you think about it, 20 years ago, you didn't really go to the park and find guys like 60 years old still hooping,
Yeah, no,
and
for sure.
now it's it's become way more common. So it's just like I'm 46, I'm planning on hooping into my 50s ideally, because I'm not ready to start golfing. I don't even like golf.
Well, I can send you, I mean, it depends on
Oh,
how, I feel like this stuff is just a rabbit hole because you can go deeper. So I've got buddies that do a lot of stuff with peptides and
yep,
various injections and
yep.
other things. So
No,
depending on how deep you
I've
want to get into the recovery stuff, you can get pretty deep.
I have a friend once a month goes and gets the IV and peptides and all the things, and I'm trying not to go that far down the rabbit hole. Maybe if we get a nice big bull market in crypto and the cat's got a bunch of money to burn. So, but
There you
right
go.
now, not so much.
Recovery.
So,
Some we need a recovery fund for the cat.
when moon, let's go. We need Leo to moon.
Yep. Leo to 100 million.
Anyway, and that's the segment of personal care
Yeah.
on the Inleo AMA.
Cats are good at personal care. That's for sure.
There you go. Exactly. And we have 9 lives. I've already proven that because pretty much I've had 3 near-death experiences and I'm still kicking.
There you go.
I didn't even think I told you. Did I tell you that someone crashed into my property?
No.
Uh, all right.
Recently?
We're not gonna get to all the details because we gotta go. But so when I was up north and one of our properties that we decided to sell, like it's vacant now. We got the tenants out. So I was up there and I was painting and I was working on it to help move it along. And since it's vacant, I stayed there. Like I stayed at the property just one night. Like I usually crash with my business partners, but I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be late. He's got kids, so I'm just like, I'm gonna get a blow up mattress. I'm just gonna stay here. So I stay there. Only time I ever slept at this property in my life. Only time I'll ever sleep at this property in my life. At like 1 a.m. on a Friday night, it felt like a bomb went off. I don't know what. Like I literally like startled, and I'm like roll off the air mattress. Like I thought someone like broke into the house. I don't know what was going on. And I scrambled to get my phone. I turned the light on because there was no light in this bedroom. So I looked. There's nobody. I'm like, what the heck? And I see this glowing red light through like the kitchen window. So I like run over. I see a car on its side, like an SUV. Like, what the? So I get dressed, I come out the front, and sure enough, some drunk soccer mom literally decided that she thought my driveway was a street, I guess, made a hard right, and then crashed into the side of my house.
Jesus.
Luckily, there's like a small, I don't even want to call it a hill, but there's a small like incline before the foundation. So she kind of went up and smashed into the foundation. Luckily, that's where the hard impact was. And the car like hit it, bounced up, where literally both wheels were on the side of my house at one point because you see tire tracks on
Oh
the
my
side.
God.
And then literally like, the car basically kind of smashed and landed on its side. This lady was so drunk because like, yeah, we were
And
on the phone with
she was just
911.
fine.
Oh, of course she was fine. So yeah, she was trying to like get out of the car, and every time she went to stand up, the car started rocking. So we were like, "No, stay down." And then yeah, the cops finally showed up, and the fireman showed up. Cop basically ended up popping a window, like climbed on the car. He popped the window and was able to like get her out. EMTs checked her out. Didn't even bother bringing out the stretcher because she was fine. As soon as they basically greenlit that she was fine, cops slapped on the cuffs, threw her in the back of the squad car. And I finally like went up to one of the cops. I'm like, "Yo, like this is my property. Like, is there something I need to do?" And he's just like, "Oh, he's like, give me your information, blah blah blah." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I'm like getting ready to list the property to sell, and now I was like, "Well, I guess we have some more work to do."
Yeah.
Um, but
That's
yeah, so it was just
insane.
hilarious because
The one time
I'm
you're
literally
actually there is
the
that's
only time I'm ever at that property. And here's what's crazy though: the bedroom I was staying in was on that side of the house, and I was sleeping with my head like basically at that wall. So I looked where the tire tracks was. Like basically, her car hit like about 3 feet from where my head was on the same wall, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me
yeah,
right
what if
now."
she was going a little faster?
Right? I mean,
Damn.
thank goodness she like clipped the foundation like and didn't like because if she went a little higher, like now we're just talking about wood.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
she
I mean
probably
there's
would have went
nothing really
into the
protecting you.
house.
Yeah.
She would have went into the. I would have woke up with a car next to my shoulder.
Oh my God. That's so
But I was
crazy.
like, I'm just laughing. I'm like, we're literally like working on this property to list it, and some drunk lady crashes into it. I was like, so we're so lucky. The damage is like literally ended up just being some damage to the siding. Like
That's
there's no
that's
structural
actually
damage.
really lucky and crazy.
Oh my God, dude, you don't even know how lucky we got. She missed, like, the fill pipe for the oil tank.
Yeah.
She missed that thing probably by like 4 feet. Like that was the first thing I think. I ran in the basement to make sure we weren't leaking oil. Like she didn't hit the fill pipe
That's so
because that would have been
wild.
even like,
Yeah.
yeah, like we got so like we were 3 feet from disaster basically, which is just funny because when I tell people about like the whole 9/11 story, they're like, "Well, where were you?" And they're like, "What?" They're like, "That's super cool." I'm like, "Yeah, I was probably like 15 feet from disaster, like in terms of like where I was, where the plane was, and where I was. It's just like as long as you're on the other side of that,
Yeah.
litmus or whatever you want to call it
Right.
line,
You want to be
it's
near
like you're
death,
good.
not at death.
Yeah. So, but it was comical. So
That's
the
so
cat's
wild.
got the cat's got 6 lives left.
Yep. Don't use them all in one place.
Oh my goodness. When Moon.
Hopefully
I'll
soon.
get 6 lives left.
I don't have much longer,
Anyway,
just 6 of them.
yes. Now that everyone got to listen to my random stories. Cool. All right. Chain Chatter is noon tomorrow.
Noon Eastern tomorrow. They call me
All right.
Dan and Alex from Maya.
I'm putting a reminder on my phone because
It'll be a
last
good
week I was
one.
around and forgot about it. So I am almost positive I'm free at noon tomorrow. So I am going to come in and be a listener.
Cool. Yeah, there will be a threadcast. We'll hopefully probably put up the announcement tonight and stuff and put out all the links because I want to try to get a lot of people there. So look out for the links in the Discord announcement channel and on threads and whatnot. And I'll try to get it in all the places.
Awesome. Well, until then, thread early and thread often.
Absolutely. We'll catch you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.